That we've seen for so long, the agents, as you can see, are always pretty much the same. You run out of ideas very quickly.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see more of Uran as well. I feel like his patience yesterday was on display. Some of the flank plays were off the charts. He never really got caught out looking for aggressive stances, and whenever he went for them, there was success to be found. So I feel like he's a player who's a super good read on the game, whether that's down to the IGL of ZETA or him himself. The discipline was off the charts across this lineup, and when we saw them win that map on Haven, it was individual performances, not from one, not from two, but from every single player. We need to see more of that today if they're going to have a chance of taking it in a BO3.
Yeah, I mean, we've been hyping up how much ZETA are having the time of their lives here in front of their home fans, but it's not just these guys. Cloud9 loving it too. I saw Vanity on Twitter just sharing photos with fans saying he can't put into words how incredible the atmosphere is here. So this team are of course going to want to keep the dream alive too. But now our first quarter-final of RedBull Homeground 2023 is here. It's C9 versus ZETA. Let's get into map 1 with Tom and Mitch.
I've already got a bit of combat down on mid. Kata going to be the first to fall, but the A site is under threat. You know, that rush B strategy might have been a bit of a fake. Sold out to the crowd. Zeppa trying to catch a couple players, crossing over on the door. He'll get absolutely nothing. As ZETA try to get the plant down and succeed, but they've lost a lot of players. Zeppa on the double with the doors wide open. This round looks like might just be a closed case. Laz very low after that headshot as well. That is a very clean start to C9's map pick.
Yeah, their defensive sides yesterday were clinical. They had executions to take them through B main. They also then had that sort of passive hold when they were up against Fennel. Like they were nasty on this map. And in particular, he may be 0-1 right now, but Oxy had, in my opinion, the best performance of the tournament so far. And that's when you're considering the likes of Yedajay absolutely carrying in some of the maps. But he was unstoppable. Like there was nothing that Fennel could do. Now, do I put ZETA on a higher level than Fennel? Yes, I do. But shutting him down is going to be a different story. I am happy, though, to see they put Kayada back in the roster, because I think that even though he definitely had some slower starts, he has some high-impact explosive rounds. If anybody's going to go toe-to-toe with Oxy, I think it's going to be him.
Not too much of an investment from the side of ZETA coming into this round. Just a couple of credits spent to give some upgraded pistols. That's where they did a lot of the damage last time up against Cloud9. Of course, that was on Haven. See what they can do this time around. Already losing out on Kaida. Nice nade, shock dart as well. No way out for Vanity, but Curry, a very impressive stand-in for this squad. Yesterday, he was on fire, and here he's quick to grab the trade, keeping the numbers in C9's favor.
So a lot of comments about Curry entering the Radiant lobbies and having mass success. Like, he definitely did well on an individual level, and again, even if you look at the game they lost, I don't think any critique can really be placed onto him. He had a great game. For now, though, they're going to be running into the man you really don't want to face off against. Didn't have much to do in this case, though, as Curry's going to clean it up with 3, and C9 start with that 2-0 lead.
Very good start for this squad. Minimal losses. Economy's going to start to build up. On the side of ZETA, this is where the crowd will hope to see them take it across the line. The full investment, the rifles, and already some good ideas on display. Good adaptations to some of the positions that were in play. And Kira Ron, a little overzealous on the wide swing, but these things happen. If you have one extra smoke there down in spawn, which you would on a full buy round, it's a different game altogether. This is where ZETA won't be pulling any punches. And C9, you know, they still have some weaknesses, but 2 Guardians alongside a Vandal, it's fair to say they can take some pretty favorable fights, or at least fights on equal footing.
Thrown over the top. Definitely going to see Oxy, and an escape plan needs to be made. It almost seems like they might look to pressure through, push up through mid, but Kayada's managed to do some damage, has to try and escape out of there.
Nice.
And in fact, he's going to get the kill through the smoke as well, leaving them with a huge advantage already in this one. Vanity, bear in mind, only as a judge.
Oh, he's low. He's, oh no!
Okay, lads.
Never mind. The wall bang out of last to save the day. Hey, you could have all 5 players coming out of this round alive for ZETA, and in fact, it's looking likely. Curry just going to play the exits. When he heard from one of the interviews, I can't remember if it was C9 or one of the other teams. It actually might have been one of the Japanese teams. They asked, what's the best thing to do in a 1v5? And they said, get exits. And typically that is the correct answer. There's not a whole lot you're going to be able to do, and especially with that rifle in hand and credits spent to make that happen, I would say Curry needs to, definitely wants to survive this round. If he has to go to a judge or something, it's not the end of the world, but
Yeah.
No
also,
idea.
in terms of orbs, I don't think Oxy's even remotely close to a Blade Storm, so it's not like there's going to be anything extra that can.
Because Curry's
add
been
the
finding
gap.
a lot of the kills in that
Exactly,
B play, yeah.
So it's not going to be much of an opportunity. I like the fact that Urine as well is almost always the closest to getting his ultimate online, so real potential for something for ZETA. The thing is, though, you look at this round, and again, it's one where you've seen ZETA basically win off reactiveness. Now, the C9 are going to do that a lot, like look to put the pressure on. I think that's something that Fennel really struggled with, was adapting on the fly. The fact that they were able to sort of stabilize quite well here, especially within the chaos, is a good start, but you also have to consider the weapons that were online. Like, it was you got an SMG facing off against a rifle at range. You don't really expect that player to win.
No, of course not. This is somewhere that C9 can be a little bit more confident, and they've invested light shields across the board, allowing these rifles full utility to come into play. Vanity, the typical Odin play inside of B main, but ZETA, they know how he likes to play. They're not going near it at the start of the round. Instead, looking for control over mid, taking some of those longer range fights where they've had a lot of success in the previous series, and you can see over on A, already a sneaky spot from Jake, down inside Wine. He could have a big role to play in denying this push. In fact, he's being spotted, and now probably wants to get out of there. He's staying to try and take a fight. Bit of a team flash going through it. I think C9 maybe lost in the sauce a small bit for just a moment, but luckily the pressure isn't really being applied by ZETA. They're waiting for Laz to complete that lurk, and he's done just that, dropping Curry and leaving the B site very exposed. Only one man to defend it, but that man is Oxy.
Yeah. He's probably the one man that, if yesterday has anything to go on, you really don't want to be facing off against. Laz, though, is just catching players left, right, and center. Trade will be there, leaves things in a 3v3, and a good position from Hero on is going to catch another. Now they have to be wary, never mind. The push from behind. Sugar Zero has found another, and now Oxy is the only player remaining, and they know roughly where he is.
Yeah, they've got that info from earlier on, even
definitely know now.
Crossing over towards A. The spikes made it. He won't be able to intercept. And now this becomes very difficult. He probably needs to break that door just to cause some questions to be asked on that side. I didn't quite expect him to go blitzing through after.
I don't mind it.
Yeah, no, it was probably the right play. Try to isolate the planter. If that second player isn't in position to trade, he could have the round, or at least a much better shot at it.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with the initial steps being wrapping through tree, you almost expect that the other player might still be on heaven.
Absolutely.
And actually can't trade that. So, yeah, really don't mind the attempt. Obviously, 1v3, you can't really expect too much. But 2-2. Good signs from ZETA, because I do think that, again, after yesterday's performance where they won with winning both pistols and getting off to flying starts in both halves, winning 4 spires, I was still a little bit hesitant in how they're going to do if they don't win both the pistols. But the fact is their response here was fantastic. And actually, it seems like C9 have gone for a very early tactical pause. Especially, you only get yourselves a couple throughout. The fact that it's happened and we're only going into round 5 and they've only lost a couple of rounds, it shows that clearly there's some warning signs already there for Uni.
Absolutely, yeah. This isn't going to be a clean and easy game for C9, despite the fact that obviously they made quick work of Fennel on this very same map yesterday. Yeah. ZETA are a different beast.
They played this map twice since this roster has been formed. They won it 13-2, 13-2. So unless they're about to win 11 rounds in a row, I think this is already going to be a tougher opponent than they faced so far. And that's the thing. Historically for ZETA, this was always a pretty decent map for them. They were happy to play it. So again, it's very difficult to say with rosters changing. Sure. Like it's a completely different outlook. But that's the thing. I think when you, especially with them having 3 young players, 1 in Hero coming over from their opponents of Fennel, and then 2 youth players and a 3rd also being as a potential swap-in. That's something that could happen throughout this series. We've already seen that once. Yatsuka, who came in and played the Raze in that other matchup, I will say it didn't go quite as well, so maybe in this sort of position where you could actually be eliminated, you're not going to do that, but we'll see, because he's definitely here. I saw him walking, I actually saw him running around. He was running around with all this stuff in the box.
Oh, okay. Maybe a quick warm-up. That's one way to do it. The A side has 2 players on it. One is Oxy, hiding up top. Good shock dart. Denial of the drone for Uran. Very little information as they make their way through, but the dash will close into space. And Kaida straight up there for the fight. It's Oxy and Vanity down. A huge opening for the side of ZETA, and it looks like a quick closing as well. You want to be careful when Curry's still alive. This guy was a beast for picking up 4Ks, and he's on track to do it again. The first found, but still a sheriff in hand. Wall banks, not quite landing. Good opportunity, but It's a tough one. And you know, his backup weapon here, or his primary, I suppose, in some way, is a stinger. Might give him an opportunity if they get close, but as you can see, ZETA have absolutely no intention of doing that. They're going to run the clock down on this guy.
I feel like Kaeda's giving me like Foxy9 vibes, like when he plays the Jet. It's like all in aggression. Like I'm dashing into the site, I'm probably going to hit my first shot, but then if I survive past that, I'm still pushing. Like there's nothing you can stop me in terms of just how aggressive I'm going to be. And that's the thing. That is a lot of the time, it's either amazing or awful. Like it's a 50-50 on how things are going to go. So I'll be interested to see if he's going to get shut down at all this map and then go a little bit quiet. But in terms of Ascent, that's exactly what you need. You need, I feel like to be a great Ascent team, you need someone who's a bit of a lunatic. Someone who's not afraid of their stats being bad. Someone who's not worried about the criticism and will keep dashing into that site again and again and again, because otherwise you have no entry in this map.
That's what a good player is, man. Like, we've seen it from the dawn of time, the dawn of Valorant time, at least, that players, when you sit back and you worry a lot about all of this, the stats, the numbers, it doesn't stand to you. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. But when you're able to sit back and focus a little bit on getting your team forward, taking space, some of the more abstract concepts that don't show up on the scoreboard, that's really where the results are found. ZETA have the lead, 1 round, with C9 buying back up and putting most of their credits on the line. 3 players down to just scraps and drabs. This is somewhere that ZETA could capitalize and launch themselves into the lead with a significant margin. You can see how much weight they're putting on this round by the slow approach, a very different approach from what we've seen in the previous rounds. It is a full default, even with 50 seconds left on the clock. Very little movement from the extremities here, just waiting for C9 to get overzealous.
The thing is, though, this is the switch up that C9 showed in their last match of Ascent. They are happy to just sit and wait. They've taken control in A main as well, but it's something that is clearly prepped for. And now the push looks to go back in on towards that B side. Both going into the back of site. 30 seconds to try and clear them out, and the rest of the players are hightailing their way to try and get into position. You got that Hunter's Fury that needs to do something here, and while Kaeda's managed to get that entry, Vanity is still here. Time ticking low. They've got to try and clear him. The spike dropped to the ground. He might be able to save them here, but he falls. Even still, though, they've got to try and retreat that spike. And Oxy is looking to try and pressure, but he will get nothing done. It comes close on the clock. But ZETA, well, they survive with 4.
Well, a little taste of their own medicine with the Odin retrieved from Uran to close that out. Good damage by Vanity, but ultimately not enough. Oh, wow. That's a beautiful cosplay. I gotta say, the level of detail here is blowing my mind. I know we had the Neon and the Yoru walking out with most of our teams, and I caught a glimpse of them on the first day when we were here. It was unreal. Even like they have LEDs in it and everything. It's just something to aspire to.
Keep up.
When are we gonna get you pulling the cosplay, Tom? Who would you go for? Which agent? Can you make a nice brim?
I wouldn't mind going for a
Get the muscles out.
Stimby Khan.
You wouldn't be able to beat Megs, but maybe you can eclipse it. Get someone.
I need a lot of stuffing. Let's put it that way.
You would. Well,
I think I could beat Marcus's Reyna, though.
you wouldn't beat his Gecko. He's pulling off the Slim Shady. Oh, it looks like ZETA trying to compete for mid control a little bit. C9 in the same boat. 2 weapons bought up, a Vandal alongside a Guardian. Obviously, Oxy's confident to play this one with all his credits on the line because he's 1 orb away from a Blade Storm, a free weapon for the next round, and in his hands, an even more deadly one than any money can buy. We'll see what ZETA have planned, because for now, they're very spread out, and it looks like possibly a B fake, but the spike is rotating to B.
Oh, okay.
Nice trade from Uran. That's what I like to see.
Yeah, this man looks like he's got some experience with the Odin. That's not something you just pull off on the fly, but Curry's at least done some damage. You have to bear in mind he is still one of the pistol players. Probably would have not liked to get out of that one clean. You got to be careful, though, because you spam any bullets through, and it's going to be right back at you tenfold. Again, though, look at the clock. 25 seconds left as they look to entry into this site. ZETA really running that clock down, and there's a few things that could go wrong here. One of them is lurking within that smoke behind them. However, again, just so clean on those entries.
Sugar Zero was so quick to take that pick that you saw Kaeda turn around and go, oh, he's behind me! Ah, where is he? Oh, he's already dead? Oh, thanks, man. And the guy, you know, that's what you want from a teammate. He's got your back no matter what. Now, look, Oxy, I still think he's going to dive at this one. Saving the Guardian would be all right, but he's one orb away. Might as well try. And that try did not go too well. Very quickly, a conclusion is written. With 3 more players to pick up, we didn't really think that Jake had a chance, and well, we're correct. 5 rounds on the board for ZETA. What a phenomenal start to their attack side on Ascent, and C9 have got to be sweating. Now, the thing is here, they've got the credits, they'll invest, but even then, there are going to be some weaknesses. This has been a very tough start for the North American side.
They've got so many ults, though, that you have to put the expectation on them to win the round. Like, yeah, even you look at what's on the other side, okay, they got a lockdown, you can counter that immediately. So everything else, I can't really see too much for ZETA in this, but they have been so clean. And the thing is, for such a young team, I'm really impressed with their ability not to panic when that clock gets down to like 10, 15 seconds. Normally, that's where you see things go catastrophically wrong for rosters, especially when they don't have experience on a stage like this. So really impressive stuff. And as said, C9, they played this map a couple of times with this roster, or the one with Whippy, and both times they've dominated. They've never had to sort of turn the tide in any of these games, so it's a very different outlook for them. Attempting again some aggression. The Hunter's Fury could do a lot of damage. Kayada already gone. There won't be a second connection. Actually, Oxy's still lurking within mid. Do they expect him to be here? No, they do not.
Now with the Hunter's Fury used on A, maybe expecting more of a rotate, more of a deeper hold around mid, but yeah, Oxy playing a confident game. Oh, the laundry got in the way for a second. He was able to clean it up nicely. Uran dodges the flash, but 2 players on the other side. It's tough, damage done. But finishing him off might be tough. Never mind, he even gets the reset onto the duel for Zepa. Luckily, though, it doesn't go his way. With Uran falling, it's Hero Ron, the hero of the round. If he pulls this off, a 1 versus 4, a Curry performance, it would have to be.
30 seconds left.
It starts with Vanity. That wall bang's already coming through, and they'll take him down.
I love plain view. If you get Hero Ron's player cam there, he's just laughing. The second he dies, he's just laughing to himself. I do think he's in competition for the smiliest player in the world. Like,
he really is.
I haven't seen him. Yeah, he's just having a great time on the stage.
How couldn't you be, though? Being in this arena already probably means so much, and then seeing the crowd here cheering you on, it's a whole different ball game. And you know, the idea to use the Hunter's Fury off rip from C9 after spotting players outside of A was interesting. I guess because they have their own lockdown, they're comfortable enough that if Laz uses his, they can counter it, retake the space. But obviously, it's one of the key counters that you're going to use to deter Laz from ever doing that.
Well, it seems like it's going to be ZETA now calling a pause. Now, after losing the pistol, that's the first round they've actually lost, other than the conversion. So 5 in a row. Haven't really had to adapt massively to anything that C9 have been doing, and that one was ultimately won off a couple of strong ults from C9 at the early stages of the round. So it seems maybe a little bit over the top, but I guess they just want to make sure that this is going to be that strong attack in half, knowing that, again, like you go into a map like Bind, which even still for both these teams is going to be a relative unknown. You don't know if it's going to end up being one of your stronger maps because you haven't played in officials. You only know what's been happening in scrims, and honestly, with how new this ZETA roster is, we don't even know how many scrims they've played. We kind of just find out, especially with, I feel like more of the Pacific teams, that we find out a little bit later. Like with EMEA, there's a lot of leaks like, okay, this team's been together for a month, we know that that's coming. But with Pacific, like I saw rumors for some of the ZETA players, but the Academy players, I had no idea they were coming in. So maybe they've been practicing for a few weeks, maybe they've been practicing for a few days. So their map pool definitely shouldn't be as deep as someone like C9 who've already been playing tournaments, but they're looking good on Ascent.
I can only imagine the panic that went through ZETA's coach there as he got the final 5 count. Hero Ron bought up a second attack side Odin. And I imagine he was like, turn the mic back on! Turn it back on! I just have one more thing to say. Nice little lineup from Vanity. Much more shallow now, realizing that ZETA have been buying this Odin, or using it, this time buying it, some previous rounds using it just to try and deny that
good dart.
Wall bang. Now he's got a safe angle where he can't be fired back on all too easily. Very good kill from Vanity, and an opportunity to further deny with the counter lockdowns. There's going to be no space taken on the back of Laz's ultimate.
Yeah. We are going to see, I think it was Curry just detained at the back of the site, but it doesn't matter. They couldn't really push on to him to deal with anything, and again, that opening now going the way of C9. There has to be a response attempted, but the initial plan for ZETA is out the window. They've had to fall back completely.
You know, I think a lot of that might have been down to seeing the damage done to Vanity in a lot of the rounds, whether it was with a Sheriff, whether it was with the counter Odin spam as well, of just buying the Odin, trying to bait him into spam early, and then destroying him. But that hasn't worked out, and now they've got an attack side Odin that they can't really take through B main after giving up that space. And they can't take it through A either, with Sugar 0 down. Smokes go by the wayside. This becomes a very difficult round for ZETA to recover.
Yeah, right down to the wire as well in terms of time. They're just going to have to try and make the move now. Oxy is low. He's already gone. Paranoia. It's solid, but Laz still wins the fight. Completely blinded, nearsighted. And now ZETA is the only one remaining. The Flash again has caught 2 players, but they've traded evenly.
10 seconds left.
The fact is they're fighting blind and still managing to even the scales. Curry and Vanity now rotating back from the B site. Knife is going to catch onto Curry, but still util being used by Vanity. Surviving close and Laz still standing. It is going to be Hero on spotted left, all onto the leader. The face of this squad to try and take it back. He spotted both, and Vanity now down to incredibly low HP. He even has the nano swarm. It's going to take him out. Laz with the RedBull clutch to get them their 6th round.
Unbelievable stuff from Laz. I mean, he's so smart as well, getting into that corner, the one spot Vanity couldn't see him from. He's spraying away with that Odin, trying to get the wall bags. His teammate comes in, gets a fantastic kill, tries to put utility down to help them out, grab a little bit more information, and then Laz swings. Pixel perfect timing, even dodging the shock dart and just getting the nano in on time. It's such a beautiful round, and for ZETA, they are not just here surviving, they're thriving. 6 rounds on the attack. C9's map pick, and one that so far with this roster, they've looked unbelievable with. Again, looking at this tournament just yesterday, the 13-2 over ZETA's countrymen of Fennel. A revenge matchup, perhaps, as they...
A very different setup.
Back the win. Oxy's going into the smoke. He wants to.
Curry close. But he
Pixel
actually just
perfect.
fades off of it. The crowd definitely starting to wake up a bit as well. I think that Laz clutch is the loudest by far of anything that's happened so far in this arena. Maybe a fan favorite. Not sure, you know.
They like him a little bit. They like him. You like him too, Tom. Laz fan account.
Yep.
We see you.
Yep.
Not surprised after what we just saw.
If you're not a fan of Laz, you're the problem.
I'm kind of becoming a Uran fan, I'll be honest. After the series yesterday we cast, now looking at him here, who's playing Ascent, you know, I feel like we'd have some good conversations about the game. I'd love to sit down with him and Vanity. And Boaster, the attack side Omen operator, that guy's insane. Boaster's broken the code.
Here we go. Straight in towards the site again in the late round. TP cancelled. Vanity looking to try and find an angle to spam, but has to be careful. He's not going to give too much away. Again, leaving it to the last second. He still takes Kayada down.
Spike planted.
The rotation coming back in. This is an adventurous TP, and almost works out, but Oxy is so prepared.
This is late flank as well, though. A second flank thrown out into things with Uran. We talked about how consistent he'd been at getting behind them, but Oxy lands another great shot with the off. Great correction from Laz for his 3rd kill of the round.
Even he's surprised. The look on his face as he manages to spin on a dime.
And the key thing, he got behind the box as well. Oxy just swung him with the op, and I think he might have seen the edge of his barrel, but he couldn't get the shot off.
Laz is on
Look at the timing. And as Oxy swings to kill him, that's when Hero Ron takes the kill from the side. That was, I mean, you couldn't choreograph that any better.
They're having a great time, having a ball. And that's the thing, we've known this from Laz. When Laz is in form, you're in danger. We saw it in the past where when he used to go into chamber, that was just terrifying. And now on that Killjoy as well, 12-5, it has been a very different look to Cloud9 from what we saw yesterday versus Fennel. A tougher opponent for sure, and a nice shot from Curry again. His Sheriff has always seemingly been good for one. Vanity's going to manage to collect the orb as well, but this buy doesn't have a lot of legs behind it, and Sugar 0 patient. He's already going to spot the push. He does actually have some support though, and actually a bit of utility wasted as they will fall back.
take flight.
Yeah, that paranoia to try and gain space as Uran went up short. If those players were deafened and blinded, he could definitely claim that space for free. Instead, he's forced back and doesn't really want to compete, pushing into the... What? That was a headshot! Straight down on mid. 5 HP left on Laz. Huge. And a round like this for C9, this is all they could possibly wish for, to chip away at the numbers of ZETA, deal damage over time, and, well, they'll hope it ends in a successful crunch. 2 players spotted on A. They know exactly what's going on. Hunter's Fury used to claim space. Clear angles up close, though. Jake timing it through the smoke, and he's caught Hero Ron, but the shot didn't land. It's left ZETA with an advantage with the sight, with the spike planted, and C9 having to make their way back through. No command used, no utility to help them on their way. This is a perilous journey and one that has an almost certainly written conclusion. No adjustments to be made. It is ZETA steaming ahead. 8 rounds on the board to match C9's 3. This is going to be a huge task for C9 to recover with 1 round left on the defense, and then their attack, it better be good. I'll say that.
It has to be good. I don't know. I'm not feeling massively confident. And that's the thing that's actually really interesting is a lot of the time, if you pick Ascent, your opponents pick defense. Now you have to bear in mind that probably means ZETA picked attack, which I don't know if they expected it to be this good. They've lost a single buy round. And again, just premise that from when they played yesterday, ZETA were not good in their buy rounds. Comparatively to C9 on Haven, they were definitely the worst of the 2 in terms of buy rounds. In this game, they have been unbelievable. Now they've got Hero on. He's bought up an operator and a rifle just to try and maybe fight some of those early battles. For now, though, again, back to this sort of patient default. Laz has been a menace on the lurks. And Oxy, for the most part, has been somewhat shut down this game.
I think someone just looked at Vanity's credits and realized, oh, we can go B main this round. Perfect. They've taken some space, denied some information, kept players on B, but it's the double mid play from C9. Not just with 2 players on mid, but 2 players on short as well. Dual angles to take those duels, and fortunately they will be denied the smokes that are going down, the gradual space taken. And although ZETA are not capitalizing on those smokes, they're not filling in the space, they're robbing it from C9. Someone needs to fill in those gaps, and it's Jake and Zeppa, the duo on short that tried to have a little bit of a crunch, a surprise play, but ZETA cannot be caught on the back foot.
30 seconds left.
There's nothing but success to be found for this attacking side. A potential 9-3 half, even failing to punish Laz,
no.
and he adjusts. He will not fall this time with another kill, spinning around for more. The ghost even comes out. He's got time. Use the ult.
Hey,
He can reload.
come on then.
It's okay.
Come
You
get
can
me.
reload. Oh no, he's being shock darted by a teammate. What is going on here? But either way, ZETA, despite all the tomfoolery in the end, they have come out with all 5 players. Not only a beautiful half, but a beautiful conclusion to it as well, flawlessly closing out.
You've got to kill him while you got the chance. Like, you got to kill. Like, if you miss a beat, Laz is going to punish you. But this has been an all-round fantastic team performance. Not a piece missing. The 3 youngsters, as I said, 2 academy players, 1 coming over from Fennel, all holding their own versus vastly experienced players in America.
Oh,
like,
yes.
But like Vanity, Zeppa especially, household names. Like, we have known them for a long, long time.
Highly, highly rated. Curry is a stand-in as well, playing nuts.
It really is impressive. And this has got to be so difficult for C9 because you come into your map choice. As I said, a map that for them so far, obviously it's a very short amount of time, just playing it a couple, but they have slaughtered teams. And now they're on the other side. They're getting battered by ZETA. ZETA with the home crowd at their back. And don't get me wrong, yeah, you probably can't hear what the fans are saying. You can't hear
you can feel
if they like say something specific. Yeah. But when Laz won that clutch, they felt that.
Those desks
you
were
felt
shaking.
that's like well, when you're next to a speaker and you just hear it vibrating through your heart. That's how loud that was. I could hear it from up here. So I can't imagine down in the center of the stage. Yeah. That must have felt mass pressure because that's a round, again, that you cannot lose. And for some of the players, it's been shaky. Like, I have to say, like, there's been a few moments for Jake especially where I'm like, that's a duel you need to win. That's a duel that you have to win. So I do wonder if some of the players, maybe some of the less experienced ones, are feeling a little bit of pressure here up against that home crowd. And when this is your map choice and you've managed 3 rounds on the defense of Ascent, not feeling good, not feeling. I think like yesterday their defense was a 10-2 half. Didn't even really have to see the attack.
Maybe the attack's even better. Maybe it would have been a 12-0 half.
Maybe. I appreciate your optimism.
For C9's sake, I certainly hope so. Looks like they're going to take a leaf out of Zeta's book, even doubling down on it.
They already took him out.
Poor Leaf. I was always a Leaf fan. Oh, instead of sending a lurk through mid, it's just going to be all 5 on A. Full frontal aggression from C9 as they're going to take control over the site and grab a plant for free. But Zeta quickly rotating. They've obviously taken mid control, reinforcing short, leaving a drone up through heaven to make sure that space is not taken on the other side. It's all about that flank.
The drone.
Spotted. So they know there's 2 players coming behind. They know at least one thanks to the turret being destroyed. And that's why Zeta reposition and now focus up on short with 3 players there, 2 in heaven. This is just going to be a standard retake.
3 underneath from C9. I don't know if this will necessarily be expected. A couple of them have been spotted, and well, for Qaeda, this is going pretty well. He's now the last man standing. Both players, he knows where they are, but he's not going to be landing the shots. And Jake having that step up. As said, it's been a quiet game for him so far, but a couple of kills in the pistol won't go amiss.
A much needed pistol round win. And you know, this is, we talk a lot about, well, if you win both pistols, Tom, but if you only win both pistols.
Hey, they got round 8.
Oh, sorry. You win both pistols, follow-ups in round 8.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, C9 could never lose this.
Hey, look. You don't want to get the facts wrong. You might end up looking like a fool. Isn't that right, Ian? It's always nice when he can't respond.
We like throwing Ian under the bus. Yeah. This cape is...
It's all right. All he'll say is something about pajamas again, so, you know, he hasn't got anything else.
Hey, you went shopping, though, yesterday. No, I've seen the shirt before.
No, I've seen the shirt many times.
Seen this one before.
Oh, not going to be much in this round. In fact, very, very little. A single frenzy is all they've really got. Obviously, some utility behind it, and the B push. Well, it's going to give them the information that it's not B. Good luck, Hero Ron.
Probably not what they wanted, though, here. They wanted to run into some B players. Instead, it's going to be a retake with pistols. For Zeta, that's not ideal. Moving back into the A site, there's plenty of angles where you can catch players off guard, don't get me wrong, but they have really got themselves entrenched and full information. You know, there's no way you're catching them off guard with a flank. They know about this, and it's Curry watching it. A very tough duel to win under any circumstances, really, but add to that, classics and just a frenzy. It's just that one upgraded pistol. This becomes a near impossible task. They've done well to find one. Leave Curry on 43. Capitalizing on this kill would be fantastic. For Hero Ron, a very tough challenge, and there it is. The final bullet laid well in Hero Ron's chest. C9 push up to 5. They've won both pistols and both follow-ups in the anti-ecos. Short of that, they've only found one other round. So quite a big task ahead of them.
I like the fact they've gone a little bit heavier into some of the rifles. Like when you're down a few rounds, you want to make sure that these bonus rounds are at least a little bit closer. So having those Guardians, having an extra rifle in there, even maybe going for a Bulldog or something alongside it, it's going to make this one dangerous for Zeta. Now, last time out, there were a couple of these guns as well, and Zeta swept the floor with them, but we'll have to see how they're going to cope in this one. At least for now, they're fairly confident that it's going to be B.
That looks like they've made the right read on that one.
Oh, no. Go back to the shock dart.
Revealing area. There they are.
Big reveal.
My God.
Now the shock darts start to come through. Now the damage can come into play.
Oh, no.
Qaeda hasn't been spotted, and he's got a shrouded step right in front of him. Easy pickings for Laz. Even a nano swarm kill to be found. Zeppa, voted by the team to be most likely to win a clutch. Now in a 1v2, his chance to prove that his teammates didn't misplace that fate. 6 bullets left in the magazine. He's got to pop a reload on that. Surely he can't do this with just 6. And now he's all out. All out of bullets, all out of look as Zeta make double digits a reality, also doubling the scoreline of C9. 10-5. Gargantuan task for this attacking side to come back. At least they do get to fall back on their economy and get a full buy up here, but that was a massive oversight, assuming that there was just that one player towards the site. Qaeda was patient, tucked in the corner, and that patience was paid off.
A really good early read coming out from Zeta. Qaeda's got himself a judge. Now, I don't know if this is going to be him battling for an orb, try and get himself something to play with. In this early round, they have gone back to a higher stack towards that A side. Maybe the expectation that they're not going to try and go in this direction once again. And Kaeda's position now is filth. Like, clearing this angle when there is a player holding it with the judge is going to be very difficult indeed.
Oh.
Buran even pulling out Mitch's real favorite gun. He doesn't want to admit
not
it.
accurate. I like the skin. I'll give him that. You know, he's done well for himself there. But outside of that, you know, why would you even buy an Ares skin? You should never intend to use it. There's a player up close. He's going to take down the turret at least. Hey, look, it's good utility denial. 300 credits to do that. It's not too bad. Let's see what he can do, though. The player up close, Curry, 90 HP, 5 shields.
Yeah, the bigger problem is that if they do split through mid, I do think that Ares is now then going to just be hot trash. Like, it's going to be so difficult for him to win those battles. Luckily, his support is this man, who's been kind of good.
Been all right, yeah. No utility to play with. He's gotten a few nano swarm kills so far, and nothing to be found this time around. Good luck to you. Oh, no! Kaeda somehow survived that. He's staying alive inside the smoke, but there it fades, and Jake is already behind him, having used the paranoia and the shrouded step to bypass that secure defense that he had up and running. Sugar Zero's caught off as well. The numbers thinned out now for ZETA, and with Hero Run on 5 HP, Tom, it is not looking good. Iran has to go huge. He will find the first, but still 3 more to go. Plenty of time.
This is one of those positions where both your players are low. You don't really have the money to go back on either, so you're just leaving yourself with basically nothing to play with if you lose this round, and you are probably going to lose this round. Vanity able to clean things up without too many problems, and I have to say, like I said, first half, Jake had a rough time, but he's had a couple of high-impact rounds already when it comes to their attack.
Obviously, from our perspective, we could also see that ZETA wouldn't really have a chance to save those weapons for free. If you glance at the mini-map here, you'll notice that Curry was over on B, late lurking, and he crept up through mid. So had they have went to spawn to run B and save those weapons, they probably would have been picked off by Curry with the surprise angle, especially in the 3v2. They went forward instead, gave themselves a chance to lay their lives down for a round win. Unfortunately, that hasn't come through. Last 17-9 at the moment. One of the main players for the side of ZETA in this map, at least. Four rounds between them. C9 starting to recover.
Well, not much to play with in this round for ZETA, but we've seen them do it with the Sheriffs before. Expectations on Cloud9 to close that distance a little bit more. All being taken might give them a little bit of extra info. The thing is, though, if they are going to use that null command potentially to just make this so difficult, it doesn't seem like much of a chance. And well, even without it, absolutely nothing found. Great entries in from Zeppa and Oxy, and well, for the rest of the defenders, it should be difficult. Uran, though, so crispy clean. It's just a blip, though, on the radar of C9, as Zeppa will be there to sweep them under the rug in the end.
Big smiles all around. You'd have to after 2 shots like that. I thought he was going to get a little bit more when they came out of main, but not to be. 7 for C9. Attack side certainly taking shape. They're looking good now that they get to control how this round breeds.
30 seconds left.
With some glimmers of ZETA still posing that threat. Real opportunities to push this all the way now that rifles come into play. Kaeda with a Blade Storm in this round as well. Something to keep your eye on as we progress. And Vanity has gone for the attack side Odin, and he might need to use it. They've pushed up on B, pushed up on mid. But the rotations from C9 are instantaneous. They hear all that noise on B, and they say, all right, I guess A is a little bit more open. It's the right call.
1 kill, and he gets himself the lockdown, and this round becomes so much more difficult for C9, but doesn't look like he's going to be able to find it. They've still been able to rotate relatively quick. Oh, it's not connected by Kaeda, though. Oxy's been able to get that entry, and was that? Oh, it was a fake TP. I thought it just seen Jake TP all the way into the spawn. I was like, that was pretty optimistic. Even still, he's managed to find impact. A 1-for-1 trade. Vanity holding the line. Is Uran just waiting? Waiting to see if he runs out of bullets, especially with how low he is on ammo. This could be problematic for Vanity, and he will fall back into a 2v2 scenario. And remember, Laz's kill does get him his ultimate online. It's looked free for ZETA, and well, it is in the end.
Gonna take a second for Laz to get back into this. Haven't been detained. Now he's ready to go and take that fight. Player down below hasn't been spotted. Curry has the jump on him, and that might just be enough to close this one out. Curry, of course, gonna have to move out of position, but with his nano swarms winning the round, not too much to be done. Very easy close, having assumed both players were in main. That was the wrong read, and we will see the round. Whoops. We will see the round go to C9. 2 rounds between them, and I'll really say that this attack side is starting to take shape now.
Oh yeah, the fact is that other than their bonus round, they've won absolutely everything. Finances through the roof, ults still somewhat in their favor. This is now starting to look very dangerous for ZETA, and that's the thing. There's one thing losing your opponent's map, it's another being firmly in the lead after a fantastic half and then letting it slip away. Like, that's going to be difficult to take. And as we've mentioned so many times, this is a young squad. Like, they're not the sort of players that can come into this and have that mass experience of mental fortitude to be able to reset. As I said, some of the players on the other side have been competing for many years. It'd be a lot easier to do. It's not like someone like Laz as well, who's been competing in prior games and coming into this. For a lot of them, this will be their first time out on a big esports stage. If you're winning and it slips, that's going to be hard to take.
That's it, man. That's it. You know, and then moving on to the next map, Bind, sure, you can think that ZETA have the preference there. It's their map pick. They've obviously got their prep done on it. Who knows how C9 will stack up against what they've got planned, but reality is, yeah, it stinks to have that just swept out from under you when the series was so convincingly going your way. Again, the main thing, the main praise that we had to sing for ZETA up against C9 last time was the fact that they were consistently able to win thrifty rounds, consistently able to win pistol rounds. Yeah. It's been the exact inverse this time around, with C9 taking that ZETA role and keeping themselves alive with pistol wins.
They still seem to be very happy, laughing, giggling, like the vibes are being brought back by the coaching staff, which is good to see. Because that's the thing, even if things start to slip away, they're still in the lead, they're still on that defensive side, and we've already seen many hero plays out from this roster. The individual skill cannot be questioned, so C9 can't get too ahead of themselves just yet. Fact is, though, early stages of this one, they're trying to almost blitz their way in, led by Oxy. It's only going to be the one and done. He went in with the Blade Storm, though, so I don't believe that's a weapon loss, so nothing that can be retrieved by Laz. Although I will say, if I see Laz on one side of the map, I'm going the other way.
There is a judge close as well to be recovered. It's not a lot, but it's something. It'd certainly help him out on this close range hold. Mid is wide open. That's obviously going to be a concern for him with nothing to defend it. Turret back on in 12. We might see it placed, but for now, the human turret of Hero is here. And yeah, 2 players spotted inside of B main. It's that mid lurk that I'm worried about from Jake. If Hero is distracted by the B main play, if it comes through, Jake could find an opening to slip in. The paranoia does give it away, though. That's been seen and noted and heard.
But they're going back. The knife caught 2 players. Now this leaves the only defender is Sugar Zero. Paranoia is perfect, and so is the shot. An execution of Jake. Now they don't have those smokes to play with either. Kayada, this might be a nasty surprise. They're expecting a pistol to be within this smoke. It's a risky game. That rifle on the other side. And now they're going to try and deny the utility. Not allow those ults to be put into play as ZETA have a chance in this round.
Post-plant Hunter's Fury, though, time will be run down by Vanity. You see him run all the way back to A main. Supportive utility is the best that he'll be offering with a recon. Knife out on site. Zeppes knows there's one player coming from heaven, but the timing is perfect for Sugar Zero.
This ult is worthless.
He was spotted and accounted for it. Now Vanity has to run it forward, take these fights halfway defused already, and he's given up. He's realized there's no winning this round. There's no escaping. The recovered judge deals the final blow as Laz picks up his second in the round. That is 11-8. One step closer to closing out Cloud9's map pick. And, well, giving them a little taste of deja vu.
Impressive. I think, again, you have to give some credit to the coaching staff, because even just the smiles going back onto their faces after having that little chat, a couple of individual plays. And, again, these are the experienced players. Laz, Sugar Zero, the ones that have been there before. If they can pump up the youngsters, they can definitely close this map. And what a round to do it. And it's been a bit quieter from Sugar Zero than what we've seen so far throughout this tournament. For C9, there has to be a response. Financially, no issues. They've got that purchase back in, but they actually used a couple of ults in that last round, and all of them went amiss.
Dangerous recon used. C9 very quick to react with Curry hightailing it out of main. He plays with Vanity. He knows what it means when he sees that go up, and Uran was very much looking to replicate that performance. I like the off-angle change as well. He's using a very similar setup to what you see with the Killjoy, where Kaida is basically the turret right now to allow that wall bang to come through. Close range, drone goes through, decent range on it. He'll get just around the corner, and there's one spotted. Right, spike seen as well. But it's all, just because the spike is there, just look at the mini-map. 2 outside A, 1 watching mid push. Quite a passive play from this squad. Damage done already. Curry's extremely low. He's getting behind the boxes to try and have a safe space to play from. Still a shock dart in play for Uran as well. That could have went extremely badly.
Yeah, they're kind of in no man's land as well. 35 seconds left, and they're only just starting to make a move into middle. Bear in mind, there's multiple players ready and waiting on short. In fact, Laz even has a lockdown. If he was to place this now, then they're in so much danger. There goes the Hunter's Fury to try and displace Laz, but they've still got to get into the site, and they still have to deal with him. It's a different story altogether. 15 seconds now, and they're only just making their way into the site. This is looking like a fumble from Cloud9 as they fall one by one. ZETA, a 12th now on the board on their opponent's map choice. And that looked messy from C9.
Oh, for sure, yeah. This was an idea of trying to poke and prod at B main, hope that A main aggression comes in. They make noise on the other side. They showed them the spike. They let them know, hey, yeah, we're thinking of B, Why don't you take some space on A? But they don't. They sit with 3 players on A. They're ready and waiting. They dodge the Hunter's Fury. Laz somehow working around it to still find kills, still make it out alive.
22 and 11, by the way.
Just pixel perfect gameplay from this ZETA side. And there's a reality where you come into a game like this, maybe even some Redditors out there are going to look at it and go, oh, C9 choked, they look terrible. No, ZETA are playing an incredibly good game here. Sure, that round was a little bit staggered out, but again, it speaks to the patience and the discipline of this squad of ZETA. They are so good at deciding when to take those aggressive stances, when to go for those early flanks, and when to sit back and let their opponents make the mistake. And that's what we just saw there.
Well, C9, they've got a chance to see if Imi can pick them back up. 4 rounds in a row needed. As said, they have really not felt pressure on a map of Ascent so far as this team. Fennel yesterday was a walk in the park. Oxy was farming with probably the best performance of the tournament so far, and this game, he's not been bad. I'm not going to say that, but it hasn't been that same level from him individually. This purchase also, it's looking rough. 0 ultimates. They don't even have weapons or decent. Well, actually, Zeppa's got a stinger. He's pretty good with the stinger. Curry's looking at an attack side judge, which is pretty reliant on aggression. And on the other side of things, well, Laz has had a lockdown for multiple rounds, just not really had a spot to use it in. Hero run as well, null command. Sugar Zero could even use from the shadows for quick rotation. So it makes this round so difficult for them to play with, and by the looks of things,
Backside judge.
At least now they're setting up for what looks like an A take once again. Maybe just trying to pick up the pace just a little bit, because the last few rounds, well, it's come close on the clock.
Oh, wow. Even going to be canceled out. No utility to play with that knife landing at the perfect timing. Hero Ron knows there's a player up close. Oxy's been accounted for. Good read on where the second player would be, but no shutdown to be found. Every single player of ZETA steps up on the A site. And an unbelievable result. 1-0 for the second time against C9, this time on their map pick with Bind and Lotus to try and close this out. ZETA showing a level that we haven't seen from this squad in a long time. This is beautiful gameplay. And C9 now have to perform a reverse sweep or face elimination.
It is popping off in this arena. Cloud9's pick Ascent goes to ZETA. There's definitely a home crowd support that you can feel here in the Ryogoku Kokukikan Arena. That wasn't just any map win. It was at times a dominant and disciplined one, Tom.
Yeah, it definitely got close in the middle. I think C9 started a run of rounds, but I don't know what